People from Nottingham and Nottinghamshire have shared their personal stories of overcoming thoughts of suicide or bereavement by suicide. By telling their stories, they aim to show that recovery and remaining hopeful is possible. If you are feeling vulnerable right now, this might not be the right time to watch. Visit www.nottinghamshire.gov.uk/suicide for information on how to access support.
So Tony passed in December 2017. I met Tony when I was 16. So I'd spent all my adult life with Tony. On the whole, we had a good marriage, we had a good life, we did many things together. But I noticed when I think back that last 6 months before his death, when I think about it now, he had started to withdraw from people. So it still feels very, very surreal. 5.5 years on, it still feels like, some days it feels like yesterday, some days it feels like 5.5 years ago, but it still feels surreal at the same time. When you talk about somebody that's died of cancer, let's take the example, people don't say, they don't question the death, but when somebody dies by suicide, it's very much, oh, why did he kill himself? Is it because they have financial problems? Is it because there were relationship problems? Is it because of alcohol? Is it because of drugs? They want, people's curiosity wants a reason for why somebody took their own life. And that's nobody else's business but my business as to why I think some of that might have been. But then you carry that guilt that people are thinking, well, it must have been Vicky. Vicky must have, she must have not been a very good wife, or she must have done this, or she must have done the other, and he's killed himself because he couldn't cope with it anymore. So it was it was awful, terrible. I didn't want anybody to know how crap life really was at that time. I really didn't. For some reason, I would just have rather kept it all to myself and kept this face on, put my lipstick on, carried on with life, and people just think, oh, she's fine, look, she's doing really, really well. Well, actually, I wasn't doing well at all, and probably 18 months, 2 years on, I hit rock bottom. Didn't tell anybody I hit rock bottom, but just cried lots, spent lots of time on my own. I struggled. I didn't invite people to my house, because if I invited people to my house, if then I got to a point where I didn't want anybody around me anymore, I couldn't tell them to go because that would be rude. So I just used to go to other places because then I could control that, I could manage that. I wasn't very good in big spaces, lots of people. It became too much. But if I would go there, I could then manage that and I could come back. And slowly with time, I've got better with that and I'm managing that a lot easier now. I'm a lot better than I was. I still have moments where my anxiety does affect me, and if I'm in a room full of lots of people, or believe it or not, if I have to talk to somebody, it bothers me, although talking about this now in this way is so much easier. So music was a big part of my self-care. I used to play music all the time. I couldn't be in a quiet space, because if I was quiet, then that would lead me to going into my head and thinking about all those things that I didn't want to think about, revisiting them, the what, the why, the if. So I would always have something, and I still do, I always have something on in the background. I've always got music on, or I've got the television on. And I happened to come across SOBS, which is a charity that works for people that have been specifically bereaved by suicide, who run support groups all across the country. At that point, when I'd found SOBS, I was at a point whereby I'd created a network around me where I could have those conversations with people. I could say what I needed to say without judgment, but was very aware that not everybody might be in the position that I'm in. You know what? With the right support, you can create a new life, and that new life can be absolutely amazing. And I've got so many more plans ahead and things booked, ideas, that I'm here to live this life and to enjoy this world, and that's exactly what I'm going to do.
For more information and details of support services, visit www.nottinghamshire.gov.uk. nottinghamshire.gov.uk/suicide. For immediate support, call Samaritans on 116 123.